Clocks. There.
All blue? Okay.
Facebook, can you hear?
So we got a couple more people that have tuned into Zoom, which is great. Okay, I think we're ready this time. Had a good warm up. Now I'm feeling good. Again, welcome everybody. We have got a pretty good turnout, and I believe Facebook Live people are starting to tune in, which is much appreciated. So just to reiterate, if you didn't hear, we as far as the structure of the meeting goes, we're just going to ask that you hold your comments to the end of both of our spiels, and that's mine on the budget and Lauren's on the cemetery bylaw. And if you have any comments for Facebook Live, please just put it in the comment box and Tiff will ask near the end during the allotted time. Okay, and then if on Zoom, if you would like, you can put your hand up after a spiel and we'll see you on the screens and we'll go through whatever order they come up as. So again, thank you. I just want to give you an idea as where this council plans to put their focus as per finances during our term and the future. Over the past several years, council and administration have put huge focus on creating a balanced budget and creating a savings to tackle ongoing infrastructure weaknesses. We will continue to make this a priority during our term. The admin has presented a budget that is not only very legible, but very comprehensive, and I would like to thank them for their efforts over the last couple of years. These documents are also available on the town website. During this term, our council has just started a strategic plan that is very focused on asset management and the recently finished OCP, which in large part is where fiscal responsibilities will lie. Many of the expenses in our capital budget are asset related. Majority of the big ticket items are expenses that will help sustain our infrastructure over time and increase our service capabilities. Council has the role of oversight and decisions on these capital purchases, but we rely heavily on admin to prioritize and find funding necessary to make these purchases come to fruition. I've asked Cam to speak very briefly on the capital budget after I'm done with my presentation, only because he can give a more detailed reason as to why our budget for the capital is $3,160,450, of which only $404,128 is our own funds. So with regard to our capital expenditures, government funding, as many of you know, play a big part in allowing us to acquire big ticket items. One of the biggest funding pots we can access is the gas tax fund, which has currently changed names, but it's neither here nor there. Currently, the town has $9,707,978, and it increases by a little bit more than $800,000 annually. Recently, we have been able to access these funds for rolling stock, which is why we have some new equipment on this year's capital budget and in the past couple of years. We hope to have a more fluid change in our rolling stock, and just to make sure that we're not dealing with aged products. There are a few details to the budget that I would just like to highlight. So the first being our tax assessment increase, which will reflect in the tax income line. Due to the tax assessment increase and the relation to our mill rate, at the municipal level, we have not increased taxes. The added value to all our assessments have allowed for an increase to the tax base that administration feels will cover increases in costs and wages, at least for this year's coming. I would like to make the comment that this might be coverage enough for this year. However, due to upcoming union negotiations and the rate of inflation predicted in the coming years, our municipal mill rate will have to be revisited. Of course, public consultation will have to play into these matters. The second point I would like to address is the proposed increase to minimal tax rates and empty lot taxes. The proposal from administration will be that the residential minimum tax rate, which is going to go from $600 to $800, An empty residential lot, therefore, will be the same. So it will go from $600 to $800. Empty commercial lots are going from $600 to $1,100. The total increase of taxes from this proposal is roughly, very roughly, $45,000. This council and previous council has expressed constant concern over the lack of lots in the community. We need to put some pressure on people with land development. So these measures may be drastic, but we feel it needs to be express our urgency to have these lots developed. The third thing that I would like to point out is the major difference in our budget is the separation of recreation, the recreation department, into two separate departments. So we've separated, admin is separated, parks and the rec center. So there'll be a clear difference between what the rec center and I believe the pool.
Pools is, I think Shannon can correct.
So anyways, we'll get some clarification, but those that in the past, the rec department would represent almost $1,000 of $1 million of the town's expenses. Now we can delineate between the rec center expenses versus parks, flags, flowers, etc. around town, as well as labor associated with those different expenses. We'll get some clarity on the pool.
Pool is not included in the rec side.
Okay, so the
It's
pool is separated into the parks.
Yes.
So it'll be a clearer picture and it's not delineated as recreation anymore. Council had, okay, so those are my three main points. I just want to mention that council has pointed out some areas of focus within the O&M budget for the upcoming years within our strategic plan and the use of the OCP. Administration is definitely aware of what these upcoming items are. However, being it is an election year and a new council, you can expect to see more of these spending decisions kind of in the years to come. One last notable topic I would like to touch on quickly is the potential for hiring a financial planning consultant. This consultant would put together a very comprehensive 10-year plan and all spending within the municipality using our asset management plan and OCP. We do think a professional consultant can bring a very detailed and structured approach to spending in the years to come. Myself and council and administration understand that we have to look to the future to make the present successful. Obviously, there are so many details to our budget, but if there are questions, please don't hesitate to ask and we will do our best to answer. I think that's about it that I have to say. I did want to just go to Cam really briefly to give you kind of an update on how our own funds break out in the capital budget.
Okay, Your Worship, thank you. So in this current proposed capital budget, we're proposing to spend $404,000 out of our operating account, $535,000 out of CDF funding, out of our environmental reserves, $260,000. And I can tell you that our environmental reserve account currently has a balance of roughly $960,000. Northern Light Center Equipment Reserve, we're proposing to spend $65,000, and currently that reserve account has roughly $279,000 in it. The next line item is COVID funds, which is money that was given to us as part of a restart funds from the federal government, and at which time we had received roughly about $404,000, and we have $53,000 that we hadn't spent, so that has been rolled over into this budget. And then the other line item is the YTG special projects, which is energy retrofit money, which we have an agreement with the government for the rec center, which is $446,922. And then the other piece is the gas tax, which is currently, now the new name is the Canadian Community Build Funds Program, but we still refer to as gas tax, which is $1,396,000. And as his worship mentioned, we're about $9.1 million in our gas tax account, in which we receive funding every year, and a few years we've got double allotments of our input. So that accounts for $3.1 million in proposed spending. And I'll just go through the big ones because of the fact that the small purchases, a lot of it is personal protective equipment for the fire department. And then there's one line item I'm sure that's gonna cause some questions. And if anybody's looking at the budget, there's a proposed line for gas tax money of $150,000 for lighting for 2 Mile. Currently the municipality is in negotiations with Yukon government to extend lighting to 2 Mile. So that's what that is. And we had to put it in as a proposal now as we work forward on that. The next big purchase would be public waste drop-off area, which is something that we started last year. A bunch of the money was funded under the small communities funds, and then this is the top-up would be through gas tax to finish off that project at the landfill. The next one, $200,000 for energy upgrades to the district heat system. There was probably about 20 years of work not done to keep district heat up and running, and now we're catching up for it. And ATCO has also added two new generators, or has 2 new generators online, and this is the part of the funds to tie that in. And then $23,000 to flush and upgrade the existing pipe work with district heat. Excuse me. Then there's $120,000 in the budget for our fleet vehicle purchases, which was part of a plan that was presented to council and approved in 2019 to upgrade our fleet, which consists of some 1980s, 1990s, and 2000 year vehicles. And as we go farther down, there's upgrades to the cemetery at $60,000. And then the energy upgrades at the rec center, I believe when the dollar amount comes in, it's roughly $530,000 for that project. And that project is redoing all the lighting in the rec center, upgrades to the ice plant, all for energy savings. So of that money, $200,000 was totally covered by YG. And then of everything, the other $300,000 above that, 75% is covered by YG. So hence our input share of $70,000, I believe is, oh, sorry, it's right there. 75.6 is our contribution to that program. And then there's $20,000 worth of upgrades to the trailhead for Wylake Trail, which would be the area at the municipal building, admin building, where it joins in with the new landscaping, and that goes down to the trailhead here. Upgrades to the showers at the rec center. Part of that money was funded in last year's budget. We've put it out for tender twice now. We've received no bids from any local contractors, so now, of course, all our costs have gone up through COVID, so we've had to increase the budget number, and it's going out for tender again through the MERC system and through the Yukon Contractors Association for seeing if we can get contractors from outside of Watson Lake to bid it. The big one on the map is the Northern Lights Center equipment replacement of the projection equipment, which is 25 years old and is no longer operating. So that money, that replacement of the dome camera system is revolves around a CDF application, which we have submitted. So hopefully we will hear back on that one because it is a big tourist draw to the community, so. That's it. I must have missed something. That was.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good though. So the other thing was the replacement of our 1994 hydrovac flush truck for doing sewer maintenance is the other thing that's in the budget. So that's the big things, Your Worship.
Thank you. CAO Lockwood, always great. So unfortunately, because of the style of the meeting and everything, it's hard to show you exactly what our budgets look like. And hopefully you all have a copy of them. If not, they are online. So please take a look if you can during this time. And if you have some questions, we're definitely here to have discussions around that. But before we get into that too much, I'm going to go to Councillor Hanchar so she can give you a little overview of the cemetery bylaw.
Thank you, Mayor Urban. So I would like to start by saying that the current cemetery bylaw, the new proposed bylaw, and the concept design can be found on our website right now, watsonlake.ca. So we are seeking feedback from the community. Perhaps you have a loved one currently laid to rest in the Watson Lake Cemetery, or perhaps you wish to be interred there yourself one day. If this bylaw doesn't affect you now, it will one day. So please take some time to read over the proposed changes and have a look at the design. You don't need to provide feedback tonight if you need some time to think it over. This bylaw will be up for discussion at our council meeting on February 1st. So you can submit feedback to the town office in person or through email until that date, or you can connect with one of the councillors at any time. So why are we reviewing the bylaw and reconceptualizing the cemetery at this time? The main reason is simply that with the current layout, we are basically out of available plots. We also heard back in 2018 that some people weren't satisfied with the current cemetery services. And given that the bylaw hasn't been updated since 2010, we knew it was time to review it. So last year we hired a consultant to review the cemetery as a whole to determine the best use of space because, like I said, we are running out of plots. We are losing a significant amount of money on the cemetery currently, and it's costing us a lot of manpower to do upkeep. We need to determine a better layout so we don't have to develop more area for plots. Now, we realize that this is a sensitive topic for a lot of people, and we want to respect our community members with proper burial processes and create a better serviceable cemetery. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Councillor Hanchar. Yeah, so that really is what we have to present, and we always know that there's lots to follow with questions and comments. CAO, what would you like to say?
Did you present the dollar amount of the O&M budget?
No, I can do that, or do you want to?
I'll let you.
Okay. Before we get into it, I'm just going to give you a dollar amount for our O&M budget. So we did do first reading, but the provisional budget for 2022 total revenue is projected at $5,470,737.64. And of course, balancing at total expenses, $5,470,737.64. I was looking at this briefly, more than briefly, obviously, but to note some changes, if you have the copy in front of you, you can see the recreation building and other parks and rec separated. Notable changes from our 2021 to 2022 budget. We see a little bit different revenue in our water. We see a little increase of revenue in our solid waste. And there will be always an increase to our CMG. So that would be a total about $130,000 over what we did last year. So again, I'm just gonna round up a little bit, but our provisional this year is 5.4 and last year was 5.3. So it's about $100,000 in increase for revenue and expenses. However, they are balanced with a small transfer of our own funds. I believe the transfer of our own funds was projected at $27,000 from our operational reserve. Cam, I'm just gonna, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, your worship.
Okay,
Well, I guess other than the fact that just the way the new budget shows, it really does show the breakdown on the recreation side, which has always been the contentious topic. Right?
yes, absolutely. So we're no longer spending $1 million on recreation, which is happy to see. Yeah, so I will just mention for people that don't have a copy in front of them that the building expenses are at $575,000, and all other parks and rec would be $444,000 instead of all under recreation. So it's a much clearer picture as to where that $1 million kind of lies. Not to say that it isn't a lot for the recreation building. It still is a lot. It's a great building, I think. So yeah, that's really what we have to present. And I hope that everybody heard that, and I hope that everybody can take something away from that. And I hope that we can have some questions or comments. Councillor Hedger.
I was just gonna ask, we're gonna take questions.
Yep.
There's somebody on there who can't put their hand up.
Can't? Oh, okay. Well, I'll go through, I'm going to go through the Zoom list because it's not very big, and I'll just ask individuals if they have any questions. First on the list is iPhone. I'm not sure who that is. Can you identify yourself for us?
Is that Patty?
Patty, you're there, but there's another one. It's a iPhone. You were unmuted. What?
It's Chad. I have no question.
Okay. Hi, Chad. Thanks, Chad.
Yeah.
Okay. Next on the list is Janice Carlson. Do you have any questions or comments?
No comments in the chat.
Okay. Thank you very much, Janice. Hope it's hot where you are. Johanna Nugent.
Nothing right now.
Okay. Thank you, Johanna. And John DeVries.
Just joined, so people-
You're next on the list. I'll come back to you.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Okay, thanks, John. As per your seat on council last term and your request many a times to have those departments separated, there you go. Okay, I can't quite read. Jenny Skelton. Hi, Jenny. Do you have any questions for us at this time? Okay, I'll keep moving.
Thomas.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna skip Thomas
Patty.
and Patty.
Okay, thank you very much. I do have a couple of questions. You know, when you were speaking about the split in the rec department and parks, I see that hasn't, I mean, that's not on the budget documents, right? So it's still showing up as $1 million plus.
She has, your worship, I can answer that. So Patty, you're probably looking at the all department first page.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I can email you the new one, but if you go farther back, if you go back to the other tabs, the departments are broke out separately in the spreadsheets.
Oh, okay. All right. I just printed off the old department paperwork.
Yeah.
I see that there is no money being put to reserves this year. Can you confirm that?
currently.
At the moment, we have not budgeted for monies to reserves.
So Patty, I can say that right now, council has administration working on reserve policy. And we did put in 149,000 into each one of the reserves account this year based on our surpluses after the audit. And that's what the policy we're working on right now for council.
Okay. So in the, as you referenced, Cam, in the capital budget, there's the contribution to the overall budget of $400,000+ from our own funds, and I'm wondering where that money comes from, because is it included in the expenses in the all departments page? Or is
No,
it just coming from savings?
it's coming from our daily operating account, our savings account, yes.
Okay, so I guess I'm wondering then what the overall income and expense picture looks like, because it would seem that this is a deficit budget.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yes.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure I was looking at that correctly. Now, and I don't know how many people are interested in knowing this, but I find it difficult to get a picture of the town's overall financial position from these documents. So I did look on the website to see if the audited statements for the town were there, because I presume that's where we would find the overall picture, such as how much is in savings and how much is income and revenue, or sorry, income and expenses. So is that where we would find that big picture of how much is in investments and how much is in savings and how much is in each of the reserves? And I ask that because, you know, nowhere in the documents that I've seen today would I know that there is $9 million in the gas tax fund. So I'm just wondering where someone would get that broader picture of the finances.
Yeah, so yeah, we did, sorry, Patty, we did present that at the council, I believe it was 2 council meetings ago, but what we can do is we can put out a document that actually shows all that, because it was presented to council. And I did go over what the balances, current balances are in the reserve accounts tonight. So we can talk about the rest, we can let you know what the rest of the balances are.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's not, I don't want to put you through more work if that information already exists somewhere. So is it included in the audited statements?
It is on the audit statements, but of course the auditor's statement is from last March, so it's not current, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. But that's the most accurate picture of the town finances. Is that not right?
Yes, you're right.
And do you have any plans to post that on the website?
The auditor's report is on the website.
Okay, there, I was looking for it tonight, didn't find it. So, okay, thank you very much. Then I'll have another look at that.
And if
Now,
you're,
I just wanted to. I just have one more question, and it's about. Well, okay, that's not true. I've got a couple questions. The work that's being contemplated for the Northern Lights Center, is that contingent on receiving the CDF money?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, on the capital budget of the, you made a reference to a truck, I think it is, that's going to flush the sewer lines, right?
correct.
And that's under,
It's under utilities, flush truck.
flush truck, yeah. I'm just curious about that. I mean, obviously, we must have a truck for that already.
We have a 1994 truck that the town bought used probably 10 years ago. And it is it's beyond its useful life. It's every time we start it, we spend more money in repairs than we do actually trying to do work with it.
Okay. All right, thank you. I just wanted to get a little bit of clarification whether that was a new truck or a replacement for an old one.
Yeah, it's a replacement truck, Patty.
Okay. All right, I think that's all my questions for so far. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Patty.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. I got through the Zoom list, so I'm gonna go to Facebook Live.
Okay, we've got one here from Chris Sugden. He says, when you're talking about utilizing space at the cemetery, are you talking about existing space or are you talking about moving current plots? At one point, it was stated there was no more space.
Yeah, your worship, I can answer those
Yeah.
questions.
Yep.
So, Chris, currently, the way the current design of the cemetery is, we will not be moving plots. That's a no-brainer. We're not going to be exhuming bodies and moving stuff around. Just the current design of the cemetery was done, I'm not sure who did the layout, but there's room enough for definitely another 2 plots in between each row of plots that we have now. So it's just using a better layout or use of the cemetery. And if you go to the website and look at the concept that the council adopted, you'll see that we have room for more than what we'll need for probably 20 years with the new design. And it also lays out family plots, which we currently don't have, and more plots for interminative cremation. And also other areas that are in there are areas for holding spiritual ceremonies, like there would be a fire pit for sacred fire and those type of things that are in there. And also directory, so you can actually find the graves that you're looking for.
Thanks, Cam. I hope that answers your question, Chris. Is there any more questions from Facebook Live? Okay.
Jenny Skill. Okay.
Loaded, go ahead.
Yeah, your worship, so we have a question from Jenny Skelton. How much money will be saved after replacing all the lights in the rec center? I honestly don't have an accurate answer to that, but everything in the new proposal is LED. And from dealing with Energy Solutions branch, we've been told it'll be drastically, even in the summertime, our power bill for the rec center averages about $4,500 a month. And in the winter, when we have the lights on in the skating rink and the curling rink, along with the ice plant running, our power bill from the rec center goes in between $15,000 and $18,000 a month. So anything that we can save should have a drastic impact on that amount of money. Does that answer your question, Jenny?
Yes.
Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for the question. Patty?
Hi. I just had a couple of questions not to do with the budget.
Awesome.
Do you want me to go ahead with that?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I wondered if we could first get an update on the sale of new residential lots that I believe was supposed to be tendered anytime now. I wonder if that's been done and if we will in fact see lots available for sale this year.
Patty, currently I can't answer that question, but we've requested that Community Services Land Branch present to the February 1st council meeting to give us an accurate update of where we stand.
Okay, thank you. And I wondered if, I mean, with reference to the major overhaul to the sewer and water infrastructure for Watson Lake, I'm wondering if there's an update on that overall program and when we can expect it to start. I think I heard somewhere that 1/3 of that project has been approved. And I'm just wondering when the people might get some kind of briefing on that.
Yeah, I can answer that, Your Worship, as well.
Thank you.
So the ISIP application was approved by the Yukon government and forwarded to Ottawa 4 months ago as an approved project, along with numerous other projects in the territory. Apparently, I've got an email confirmation to say that it's actually sitting on the minister's desk in Ottawa, waiting for signature for approval. Council has taken the steps now to reach out to our member of parliament, Dr. Hanley, to see if he can generate some movement on it. As part of that project, the design tender has gone out and a selected consulting firm has been chosen. We participated in that process. Our director of infrastructure, our director of operations participated in that selection, and that work currently is on hold because under the ISIP regulations, we cannot start any work until the signature in Ottawa. Otherwise, it's an ineligible fund, and based on the dollar amount, it's something that we're not, and YG are not willing to fund at the moment. But we're hopefully going to have an update next week as to hopefully being closer to getting an answer as to when that pen will be signing on the dotted line.
Oh, okay. So do you have any plans to let the town people know what's happening with that? I mean, what the overall plan is? Yes.
So right now, until the design contract has been signed, we've gone through as a municipality and prioritized what we believe it should be higher areas of concern to start in the first phase. But we will be working with the design team to actually go through the technical documents that the consultants did when they actually when they ran the camera through all our infrastructure and looked at the different types of pipes. So until we've had those discussions, we can't present to the community yet. There was a draft design document that went to council, last council. So that originally laid out the different areas of priority. Another issue we're having right now is because since the last federal election, the ISIP runs out, I believe the allotments start running out next year. So the federal government has not identified a new infrastructure program going forward, which we all know will come as they're trying to rebuild the economy. But right now they haven't come forward with one yet. So we'll see. We're waiting with bated breath to see where that's going.
Okay, thanks.
Your Worship, you have another question, 2 questions from Jenny Skelton.
Jenny, do you want to turn on your mic or you want us to read off your question?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great. So what I want to know, is any work going to be done on the roads? I know you have to do quite a bit of infrastructure first, but is anything happening with infrastructure to begin with?
If I'm not mistaken, Jenny, that's the final phase of the infrastructure plan.
Just Your Worship, for some clarity, some of the roads like Y Drive we had identified as a priority for the municipality for the first phase because there is no in-ground infrastructure to go with that. So there is some roads like Y Drive that would be in one of the first stages moving forward, which we've had all the survey work and stuff done on that already, or the pre-stages of it, but there'll be a lot more engineering going into it. But Y Drive was one of the ones, and some of the rest of the community roads, we won't put the icing on the cake until all the in-ground infrastructure are done on streets that have water and sewer, but some of the streets without will be in at different phases as we move forward.
No, I understand that. I just want to know if something's happening, which is great. The other thing is, when are you moving into the new fire hall?
Well, I wish I had a crystal ball. We've had 2 attempts on substantial completion for the town, with the contractor. Right now, they're having a slight mechanical issue. Every time there's a power surge, it trips part of the building and puts
Oh,
it
my
in.
goodness.
It puts it into a fault mode. And I guess the benefit of the fault mode is that it doesn't shut the boilers off, it does the other. It turns all the boilers on. So every time it does that, it turns the boilers on high in the public works side. And I can tell you that 111 degrees Fahrenheit or 44 degrees Celsius is very warm when you walk in to reset it. So I wasn't willing to sign off as a representative of the town to take that on until that was straightened out, because if it takes 3 months or so for them to figure it out, that's 3 months less of our warranty that we would get. So I've dug my heels in, because I walked into this position with the water treatment plant and all the issues there, and it was already on the town books. So our warranty period was really short, and we the municipality ended up eating lots of expenses for the water treatment plant. So I've said since day one of walking into that mess, I will not accept something until I believe it's right and operating well and will not cost the taxpayers hidden costs.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I did look at the proposal for the cemetery and the new plans, and it looks very good actually, because that cemetery is so sad right now.
Mhm.
So thank you for doing it.
Yep, no, we're excited about what the outcome looks like. Thanks, Jenny. Tiffany, any more questions? Well, I would really like to thank everybody for attending tonight. It's been one of our shorter town hall meetings, of course, due to the style that we have to have this in. It's unfortunate because in-person discussions are just much more fluid, and I feel like they accomplish a lot more as well. But we really do appreciate you guys, everybody taking the time to be here. Yes, this is a town hall meeting that we do as part of the Municipal Act to the budget process, but that doesn't mean that you can't come to us with questions at any point in time with regards to anything. So please don't hesitate to ask. And with that, I guess we'll just say goodnight. Thank you very much for attending. Have a great evening.